The Treaty of Versailles wasn't just a peace deal, it was punishment. Germany was humiliated, crippled economically, and stripped of land and pride. The map of Europe was redrawn without local input, and ethnic tensions were ignored or inflamed. In punishing the loser, the victors unknowingly carved the path toward fascism and another global catastrophe. Historians now agree, the treaty didn't stop war, it just delayed the next one. While textbooks focus on Europe, World War I left open wounds across Africa, the Middle East, and Asia. Colonial soldiers were promised freedom, but were sent back to slavery under new names. In the Ottoman territories, the Western powers divided lands like Syria, Iraq, and Palestine with no concern for the people living there. The war didn't end for these regions. It just evolved into rebellion, civil war, and deep-rooted hatred. An entire generation of poets, artists, and thinkers was either killed or mentally shattered. The lost generation wasn't just a phrase, it was real. European culture went from optimism to nihilism. Faith in governments evaporated. The psychological impact of trench warfare, gas attacks, and mass death would shape cinema, literature, and politics for decades. From Hemingway to Hitler, everyone was reacting to the same trauma. As Germany crumbled and inflation skyrocketed, the seeds of fascism were already taking root. In Italy, Mussolini came to power claiming to restore national pride. In Germany, the Nazi Party was born in the ashes of Versailles. These men promised to undo the humiliation of World War I, and millions believed them. It wasn't peace, it was just halftime. Modern-day Syria, Iraq, Israel, Lebanon, and Saudi Arabia all trace their birth back to World War I. Western powers carved out spheres of influence, drawing borders that ignored tribes, sex, and history. The consequences? Endless war. From the Gulf Wars to ISIS, it all loops back to post-World War I decisions. Peace treaties signed by men in Paris destroyed peace in Baghdad, Damascus, and Jerusalem for a century to come. Though the U.S. joined late, the war transformed it into a superpower. American factories and banks rebuilt Europe. President Wilson tried to shape the post-war order with his League of Nations, but the U.S. then withdrew back into isolationism, until it was too late. World War I was the test run. World War II would be the real rise of America as the dominant force. World War I didn't end. It mutated. It laid the foundations for World War II, the Cold War, the rise of China, the Arab-Israeli conflict, and the reshaping of global power. The front lines moved, the names changed, but the same old ghosts haunted the new century. And they still do today. We remember World War I as history, but it's still here, in borders, in bloodlines, in headlines. The war never truly ended. It just changed shape.
Still think the Middle East just spiraled out of control? Or maybe someone lit the fuse and left the scene. If you're ready for the stories behind the headlines, hit like, subscribe, share Shadow Force, because history is never neutral, and neither are we.